My name is David Frerker, and I am the photographer for Sports San Diego. Sports San Diego owns and operates both Rady Children's Invitational, Thanksgiving Basketball Tournament, and the Holiday Bowl. I wanted to invite you guys on a behind-the-scenes tour to see what it is like photographing a bowl game and to show you why the Holiday Bowl is the best bowl game in America's finest city. The first event that kicks off the Holiday Bowl is the annual press conference, which is held at Costera, downtown San Diego on the Bay. And in this press conference, we find out which teams will be playing in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl.
On Friday, December 27th, returning home to Mission Valley at Snapdragon Stadium, we broadcast live on Fox, and don't forget, after the game, the KGB Sky Show will be the post-game show. Once again, it is San Diego's biggest holiday party, and once again, we're very excited to be able to bring in some exciting teams to San Diego.
Representing the ACC with a record of 9-3, riding a 3-game win streak and ranked 21 in the CFP poll, making their first appearance in the bowl. President Dennis Dubard, would you please do the honors? Please unveil our ACC team. We are excited. The team is making their 5th appearance in our game. Like Syracuse, this team has shown it can score at will. With an overall record of 8-4, Team Selection Committee Chair Mark McCord, please unveil our Pac-12 representative.
The second event of the Holiday Bowl is the President's Dinner. This pretty much is the one time that the actual president will get up, will give a speech. There will be slideshows. All of my photos are represented. There are a bunch of awards. The night is pretty much a night to thank all of the red coats and red shirts for the volunteer work that they are about to do in the upcoming weeks with the actual bowl game itself. We also give awards out, the Hall of Fame Award, and a few others.
That's quite a way to go. You told your story about recruiting. There is a gentleman on this stage who recruited both Tom Brady and Charles Woodson to the University of Michigan, and it wasn't me. Coach Hope, you got to tell us the story of getting those two individuals at Michigan, because I'm sure those were very different recruitments. Charles was highly sought after, and the guy who ends up being the greatest player of all time maybe wasn't.
So every year at the DirecTV Holiday Bowl Directors Dinner, we get to listen to an amazing panel, and you got to hear a little bit of the discussion there between Fox Sports' Joel Klatt, who calls the game alongside Gus Johnson, and former SDSU head coach Brady Hoke, and BYU's Leon White. Brady, for those who don't know, won a national championship at Michigan as an assistant coach, and Leon White was part of the 1984 BYU national championship team, the only national championship to be decided at the Holiday Bowl.
Then the teams start arriving here at our third bowl game event, and that is team arrivals. So every single year, the teams stay at the same hotels, the Marriott and the Manchester Grand Hyatt. And in this video / clip, we will see me photographing a little bit of the teams arriving from the hotel. Again, this is event number 3 of the bowl game.
You never know when the teams are going to arrive. That is what I've learned covering the Holiday Bowl. I have had teams come in on separate days. I've had teams come in hours after each other. And this year, the teams came in at the exact same time. So here I am welcoming Syracuse, and we are about to literally run a block and a half over to the other hotel, hoping to capture some content of Washington State arriving.
Okay, so event number 4 following all of the teams coming in is the next day, and this is one of my all-time favorite events. This is the Navy Ship Tour. So the video footage you guys are about to see is the presentation of the Admiral Sharp Award. And this particular award and speech can get a little interesting at times. We've had players insult other teams. We've had players respect other teams in the Navy. And you just never know what you're going to get during this award. So here's a little bit behind the scenes from our tour aboard the USS Tripoli.
Good afternoon and welcome aboard USS Tripoli. Thank you for your incredible support to our uniformed men and women.
Balancing his football schedule throughout the year, he participates in weekly military instruction, leadership training, and multiple field training exercises. On the field, he's played in 23 of the last 25 games, with 5 tackles and a sack. He is currently preparing to complete a 36-day training assessment this summer at Fort Knox, Kentucky. In May 26, he is projected to earn a commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Army upon the completion of his academic degree and all Army ROTC training requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2024 Admiral's Trophy Award for the Syracuse Orange is redshirt sophomore linebacker and third-year Army ROTC cadet Joshua Kubala.
She was looking at me too.
I don't got much to say, but I couldn't do anything else about you guys. And beat Navy, go Army. All right. And now for the winner from the Washington State Cougars. The Washington State recipient for the 2024 Admiral U.S. Grant Sharp Trophy is one of the most respected leaders on the team. Starting out 6 years ago as a walk-on, he paid his dues on the scout team before a steady climb up the ranks to being a 2-year starter and team captain. Over the past 2 seasons, he has led the team with a combined 154 tackles and has done so with a workmanlike mentality, without seeking accolades or the spotlight. Most importantly, he has placed the team above any individual honors, being a mentor and brother to so many on the team during his time in Pullman. The winner of the Admiral U.S. Grant Sharp Trophy for the Washington State Cougars is linebacker senior Kyle Thornton. in front of me, thank you for your service. Secondly, to the team, love y'all boys, man, for real. Like, I wouldn't be here without you guys. Let's go do this thing one last time. Love y'all boys.
Okay, everybody, another favorite day of behind-the-scenes action here at the Holiday Bowl is our annual trip to SeaWorld. When we take the teams to SeaWorld, we get the full VIP treatment. We get to take them on all of the rides. We cut the lines. We take them to see whatever they want. And they get a special exhibit with some of the animals. In the past, we've had beluga whales, we've had dolphins, we've had sea lions, we've had all sorts of animals. So this is definitely a crowd favorite and one of my favorite days to shoot. We had a few images from the roller coaster ride go viral.
That's a shot right there.
A trip to SeaWorld San Diego is not complete without taking a look at some animals, and this year Syracuse got up close and personal with some dolphins, and they had an absolute blast, and Washington State got up close and personal with some huge sea lions.
We are now at event number 7 of the week. This, of course, is the official press conference. This is the one and only time we have both coaches and all of the media in a room during the bowl game itself. This is also the media's first opportunity to take photographs with the bowl trophy and the helmets and the coaches. So today is the day before the game, and this is a little bit of a busier day as I actually had 3 individual shoots. We had a closed off video shoot, photo shoot with Joey Chestnut. As you guys might have seen some of the social going on behind the scenes of the bowl game. And then we also did a field photo shoot. So I walked around after the stadium was cleared of media for about an hour photographing every single place I could think of at the field to get cool images that we could use for promotion this year and that we could use for promotion next year. So, without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the press conference.
I want to thank you all for being here today. We are so excited. It's bowl week, and we have 2 amazing teams here to play a great game for you tomorrow. I have the privilege of introducing the coaches. After I introduce them, they're going to say a few remarks, and then they'll be open to taking your questions. So, from the visiting team, it is my pleasure to introduce from the Syracuse Orange head coach, Fran Brown.
First and foremost, I want to thank God for waking myself up this morning, our staff, and all of our players. On behalf of Syracuse, our chancellor, Senator Rue, our athletic director, John Wildhack. We are extremely thankful and happy to be here. This means a lot for us to have an opportunity of playing in such a prestigious bowl game, to play against such a really prestigious school, and with a head coach who's an interim right now that I think has done an amazing job. He has some good players that he was able to keep back, and right now, the way the portal is going and all those things of that nature, just seeing all the guys and seeing how they were with each other, how they were together the other day when we were at the Navy. We shared a little event together. I was very, very pleased, and I was impressed with the job that he's doing, that staff is doing, and all those players. Even seeing them yesterday at, what was it called, SeaWorld, where we went to SeaWorld and get to see those guys there yesterday. I'm impressed. I'm thankful we get a chance to go against those guys. I think the quarterback coming in, to pronounce his name, Zevi, I don't want to say the last one name, it's pretty hard. I think it's like Eckhouse, but I thought he did a good job. I watched a lot of film of him back at Bryant, so I was watching film on.
And now our home team from Washington State. I am proud to introduce head coach Pete Kelligus.
Thank you. There's so many thanks and so much to be grateful for. I'd like to thank the Holiday Bowl Committee for giving our young men one of the best experiences. The staff at the Grand Hyatt, the catering service, was in there setting up breakfast at 4 a.m. so our young men can eat at 7:15 in the morning, sacrificing their time on Christmas morning to provide for us. I want to thank SeaWorld for their time. I want to thank Captain Gary Harrington and the crew in the USS Tripoli for giving us their time on Christmas Eve to walk our men around. I want to thank Coach Brown for the welcoming that he gave us and our team.
So, following the coach's press conference, I like to walk around Snapdragon Stadium and to take photos from a whole bunch of different angles. These images were taken over a 1 hour time span after all media left, and the goal here was just to get some establishing shots of the stadium, because this is the first time that the Holiday Bowl has been played at Snapdragon Stadium, and because I wanted to have some branding shots, stuff that marketing could use, stuff that we could use on social media. And then, of course, we always take a cool helmet shot. We started that last year, and I wanted to find a location that I liked.
Okay, and last but not least, the 10th event of the Holiday Bowl week. And this has all happened the same day as the press conference, as Joey Chestnut press conference, as the field, and that is Battle of the Bands. This is the one day of the year that the bands get to shine at the Holiday Bowl, and it's not the one day of the year, it's the one day of the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, were all for the players, all for the teams, and now Thursday is specifically for the bands and the cheer team. So you guys will see a whole bunch of images now that will pop up on your screen and a little video clip from the annual Battle of the Bands. And let me tell you guys, this one was one of the better ones that I have seen so far while photographing for the Holiday Bowl. Okay, guys, we are now at the 11th and 12th event of the bowl game, and that is the Kaiser Permanente 5K and the Port of San Diego Holiday Bowl parade. This is the longest day of the bowl for me. Again, I've been shooting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now Friday. This is more than likely a 10, 12, 15-hour day here as I show up extremely early to photograph the 5K, photograph the parade, and then after photographing the parade, we go home to dump the cards, and then we are headed off to Snapdragon Stadium for the game itself. So without further ado, let's roll some video. too, Sam. Okay, so before we talk about event 13 of Holiday Bowl week, I just wanted to tell you guys why I keep moving the camera down here in some of the video footage you guys have seen so far. And the main reason is because I am rating my images in live time. And those are photos that are being sent off to the Holiday Bowl when photos are requested for updates. I know it's a little bit annoying, but truly is a behind-the-scenes video of the Holiday Bowl, and it's not really a Hollywood production, which I wish I could do, but I'm just one man in shooting photos and taking video. I don't really have enough time to do them both perfectly. So let's talk about event number 13, and that is the big shindig of all things. That is the actual Holiday Bowl game. Now, there were a few interesting things that I had to deal with this year in terms of parking at the venue. Parking was a little bit different than normal because of the fireworks show, meaning they had to close down an extra lot. And I'm used to parking in the media lot at Snapdragon because I shoot so many events there, and that was not a possibility. So I had to drag all of my gear over. I had to set up in the media room. And right here, I'm going to show you a image of the media room before everybody got there. And there were a few fun moments throughout the game that I will show images of. I do not have any footage due to copyright laws and all of that good stuff, but I am going to show you guys about 20 to 30 images, and I'm going to talk over each one. So I just would like to thank you guys for staying tuned. I know this is a long video, but we are almost done. So without further ado, here is some photos from the Holiday Bowl.
Thing is first when it comes to photographing the game, and that is photographing warm-up for our social media channels. So I walked around a little bit. Here you will see Syracuse's starting quarterback Kyle McCord. Got a few shots of him warming up with his wide receivers. He was one of my main targets. So this is all about photographing pretty much the most popular player from either school, which is normally going to be the quarterbacks for the bowl, just to show, oh, the guys are warming up. Next up, we have a photo of 13-year NFL pro Donovan McNabb, who played at Syracuse. He was out there watching his boys warm up. And then we went over to the Washington State side, and I took a few images of the running backs and wide receivers warming up, alongside with Washington State Cougar quarterback Zevi Eckhouse. Now we are getting into the pre-game. We are going to have performances by the marching bands for both schools. So I'm going to drop just a few images here from either school. It was more difficult this year for me photographing both schools than it normally is, due to, I would say, the location of the bowl game being moved from Petco Park to Snapdragon. At Petco Park, the bands both performed in the direction of the third base home plate area, which made it easy to photograph both bands. But here at Snapdragon, I got a lot of photos of Washington State's band turned directly performing their sideline, and then Syracuse performed the opposite direction. So I did my best to try and capture images here of their band performance. And we have the huge famous Holiday Bowl flag. We had some skydivers dive into the stadium, and we had a dual helicopter flyover. So that was all pretty neat, and that leads us into the actual game. A lot of people were moving around the entire game. Me, not so much. I stayed in one spot, sat on the ground behind the end zone on the concrete, nice and safe where I wasn't going to get hit, and photographed the entire game from that single spot, not moving. The reason for this is I am photographing for the bowl game and not necessarily for a specific team. So if I were to follow the offenses of both teams, I would miss defensive moments. And we did have a few defensive moments, including this incredible interception here. It's a little bit hard to see from my vantage point as he catches it looking the opposite direction, but this guy was named the defensive player of the game for the Holiday Bowl. There are a few cool moments that I would like to bring up here. I was scrolling on our Twitter trying to see what people were talking about, and it turns out that Zevi Eckhouse, the Washington State quarterback, was wearing In-N-Out socks, and the Pac-12 had tweeted a video on those socks. So once I saw that, I was determined to capture a photo of the said socks to send to our social team so that they could get those posted as quickly as humanly possible. And believe it or not, this one photo right here of the socks garnered over 70,000 views the night of the game on X. So always scroll and during your breaks try and see if there's anything that you can find that people are looking for. And that's always something that I like doing when I'm shooting for the bowl game. And not only did Zevi Eckhouse have the In-N-Out socks, but wide receiver number 2 also had the In-N-Out socks, and believe it or not, and he did set a Holiday Bowl record for most receiving yards in a Holiday Bowl game. Let's move on and talk a little bit about Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord had a heck of a game, leading Syracuse to a victory over Washington State. And in this game, he became the all-time ACC passing leader, passing Deshaun Watson for that really prestigious category. And right here, you see this long catch from his wide receiver running down the field as the ball is being planted in his arms. This was the pass play that broke that ACC record. There are a few other cool moments from this game with runs from the running back of Syracuse, who is also committed to the NFL draft. He was a complete beast of a running back. And there's a whole bunch of other photos that I'm dropping here. But overall, this was a great game to photograph. There's not a whole bunch of photos, sadly, of Washington State because of the scores and how everything went. The game did start extremely fast with, I believe, 4 touchdowns from both teams in the first quarter, and then it started slowing down. Thankfully, as I was able to get a grip of how the game was going to be played, what type of style of offense either teams were going to utilize.
Now let's talk about events 14 and 15 of Holiday Bowl week, and that is the eggnog shower. So this was created by our Sports San Diego head of marketing last year, and it went viral within the sports community. Some photos of USC's head coach taking the eggnog shower last year. This is probably one of the biggest moments of the game itself. I can definitely tell you guys that I prepared to go in from shooting the football game with about 3 minutes left, knowing that Syracuse was going to win this thing, and knowing very well that I needed to be in my specific seat. So as soon as I went in, I kid you not, majority of the media all followed me into the media room, swapped out their long lenses to their wide angles, to their short lenses, and we all got ready to photograph the eggnog dump, and it went a little bit different than what we were expecting to have it happen. Take a look at some of these images here as head coach Fran Brown took the bucket from Joey Chestnut and turns around and just dumps his entire team instead of one player. That was definitely highly unexpected. We did not assume that this was going to happen. And something that maybe opens the game next year, I don't know. We'll see if or how we plan to do that moving forward. But it was all a fun game. And topping it, rounding it off with the final event with our famous fireworks show. And I am a pyromaniac. I love photographing the fireworks. So without further ado, check out some of my firework photos. Now, firework photography is a little bit different than action, as you are trying to shoot as slowly as human possible, and you are trying to figure out what is going on with your fireworks. Where they're being launched from, how much smoke is being created. There's a whole bunch of different aspects that come into play when photographing fireworks, but I generally like to go f/18 or f/20, as high of an f-stop as you can. I shoot at 100 ISO. You don't really need anything higher than that because the fireworks pretty much have the same light as the sun. So you are generally goofing around with your shutter. So this could be 8 second, like 20 seconds, 30-second exposures. So that you mess around with depending upon the smoke and the direction. And I also would highly say to use a delay timer on your camera. So the best part of shooting a firework is when it is being launched out of the box, you want to click on your camera. That way it will activate the shutter, and then you will be able to get the shell going up into the sky and then it exploding in midair. There are a bunch of different ways of shooting the fireworks. I shot it from one specific location down at field level in the north end zone. Next time I would go up into the stadium and try and get a little bit of a different look. Okay, guys, I hope this entire video was not too boring. I've had a few comments from my last editing video state that my videos were a little tedious and a little boring, and I'm definitely trying to fix that up, but you know, I can only do so much. I want to provide you guys with a behind the scenes look of what it is like photographing a bowl game, and I know some of you that are watching this probably enjoyed our Holiday Bowl, but more so what I want to instill in the next generation of photographers, and if you're trying to photograph your first bowl game, is that it's not just the football that tells the story of the bowl, but all of the events that surround it. And in San Diego, we try and do a huge showing to show the community, to show the players a good time. You know, this is more than just a football game, and I think we do a great job. You know, we have one of the best band selections and things that the bands get to go do that I wasn't even able to cover because there were so many events. The bands actually get to go to SeaWorld and do a whole bunch of other things. So I'm extremely grateful for Sports San Diego and the Holiday Bowl for allowing me to create this behind the scenes video with content snippets from while I was working. And if you guys have any questions about bowl game photography or anything in sports, please feel free to drop a comment. I hope you guys will like and subscribe. If you got anything out of this video,